If you're somebody that's a go-getter, a high achiever, someone that is very goal-oriented, today's video is probably going to resonate with you because I'm going to share with you a radical change that I'm taking in 2025 as someone that I say is personally, I'm a recovering perfectionist and I'm learning to move past that in my life. And I've made a decision where it all starts is making a decision to make a change so that way I can be able to fulfill the purpose that I have, that I can be mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually available to do the work that I'm supposed and meant to be doing. And I'm going to share with you in a breakdown and kind of a step-by-step format as to how I've arrived to this decision. And my hope is that for any one of you guys that are watching this video, this might unlock some doors. You might find this helpful in some way because all of us have hope. We all have dreams. We all have things that we're looking forward to as we get into 2025. But the thing that we all kind of have to remember and know and be prepared for is that there's going to be obstacles. There's going to be tough times. There's going to be things that are uncomfortable. There's going to be sad, frustrating, difficult things that we're going to face throughout this next year. And much of how we handle those things is our perspective. And some of you guys might be watching this going, well, this is a little bit different. And for those of you guys that are new here, my name is Colton Woods, by the way. And many of you all come for horsemanship content. But at the core of the horsemanship that I try to teach folks is that horsemanship to me is not just a way to train a horse, right? Horsemanship is part of our lifestyle as horse people. And therefore, I look at horsemanship as not just everything. It's not just what we do with our horses, but it's how we do everything we do with our horses. So horsemanship is not just a way to train a horse, but it's everything we do with our horses and in our own lives. And many of us know that if we're facing a difficult situation with our horses, if our perspective is off, it can break that entire situation, right? If we don't have a healthy or an accurate or a helpful perspective, that difficult situation with a horse can just get that much worse. And it's no different in the rest of our lives. In the foundational piece of how do we set ourselves up for success. It all comes down to the decisions that we make. I will throw this one tidbit out there because we're early in the video, which is what you're gonna find as we move through 2025 is that a lot of the videos that we put out are gonna be directly influenced by the comments that y'all leave down below these videos. The number one reason I do these videos is to try to help you on your horsemanship journey, to help you on your life journey, to be able to help you develop your horse business, right? Because as equine entrepreneurs, as horse business owners, the better our business runs, the better we can serve everyone around us. And so I watch those comments. I reply to those comments, as many of you know, and I'm definitely directly open to what you guys want to hear more of because that allows us to serve you better with your horses in your own life, with your family, within your businesses. And so just please hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, right? Leave comments down below because I do these videos for you guys. And so I want to rewind back to what I was just saying a second ago. If we want to make a change in our life, the change cannot happen until we make the decision. I've learned we break things down in a very logical, very factual format, which is what does decision actually mean? Well, many of us in westernized society will think about a decision, especially going into a new year, and we'll be thinking, okay, I've got to make the decision that I need to work out more, or I need to be more paying attention to my finances, or I need to do more marketing, or I need to cook better, or I need to be more present with my kids. And we're thinking about a decision being, what else do I need to do? And we constantly stack more and more and more on our plate. When in fact, we look at what decision actually means. If we go back to the Latin root of that word, it means the exact opposite. So we go decision, right? And we break that down into decision. And so scission, like an incision, right? With a scalpel that would make with a surgeon or a doctor would make an incision. So scission means to cut. But then what about duh? Because we have decision. Duh means to remove, away. So what does decision at its very core mean? Is a decision means to cut away. And when we understand that, hey, I need to make a decision about something, particularly for myself looking into 2025, it's not a decision of what else to do, but sometimes what to do less of. And you might be thinking, well, I do need to do more of something. We all need to do more of something, right? But here's something that we have to understand as we make decisions, right? Because I don't know what the exact number is, but it's, we make somewhere upwards of 30,000 decisions a day. A lot of those are subconscious, unconscious decisions, but if you look at how many decisions you're going to make on a daily, weekly, monthly, and annual basis over the next year, you're going to make hundreds of thousands, if not probably into the millions of decisions that will drastically influence your life, your spouse, your kids, your horse, your future, your community. You're going to make hundreds of thousands, if not millions of decisions over the next year. And one of the things that I have found very helpful is to realize is that when we say yes, if you say, yes, I am going to go do this thing, you're going to do more of something. You are committing, you're making that decision to say yes. So we're not talking about decision as to remove. You're saying, yes, I am going to start working out, or I am going to take that promotion is the word I was looking for that job. Every time you say yes to something, when you make the decision to say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Because when you say, I'm going to go start working out, then that means you might be saying no to sleeping in, right? Or if you say, yes, I am going to start eating healthier, you're saying no to the snacks and the junk food, right? I'm just using some very basic examples, but if you look at, yes, I am going to go out with my friends, you are saying no to staying home with your spouse. We have to understand how the decisions work. And it's something that I think we have to put it in our conscious mind. We have to put it in the front of our mind as we go through the next year, because sometimes we're quick to say yes to things and not really analyze what that means we're saying no to. And some of the most powerful decisions that we can actually make in our lives is what we say no to. But it's a good thing because then it frees us up. I have found taking the time to break that down and to put it in the forefront of my mind extremely, extremely helpful, and actually adopt it as a decision-making process so that way we're more intentional about what we say yes to and what we say no to. As I started this video, I said, I wanted to share with you the thing that I'm actually giving up, the thing that I'm saying no to in 2025, because I'm a very goal-oriented person. I'm a very action-oriented person. And let me get you, we are 9 days into 2025. And it has been extremely busy and extremely blessed, from developing the Horse Business Manager platform that we have, right? It's the all-in-one platform for horse business owners to be able to run their business off of. And we are going all in focusing on getting that in the hands of as many horse business owners as possible. Because we know the better the horse business owner's business runs, the better they can serve their horses, their family, their students, their clients, everyone around them. And so we know that we have to focus on saying, yes, that is a particular focus of us. And so we have done a lot already in the first 9 days of the year to make that happen, right? To be able to serve and get that in the hands of more people. But also we have the Horse Protection Act thing going on right now. And I was just at a very, very pivotal meeting yesterday until late with critical people of the Western performance horse industry and different retail companies there, going through the facts, talking with lobbyists and key decision makers about that. Because ultimately, if we don't have an industry, we don't have anything. If we don't fight for our industry and fight for making sure that we have the ability to operate with some freedom, we won't have an industry to build a business in. So we've been busy with that, as well as booking clinics and all the things, right? It's been extremely busy and extremely blessed. And it's been so busy that I've had to make sure that I'm intentional about being available to spend time with my wife, be available to make sure I'm helping with the kids. Because when I'm saying yes to going to that meeting, when I'm saying yes to doing an interview, when I'm saying yes to filming videos, I'm saying no to other things. When I say yes to filming this video, I'm saying no to being available to help my wife with my infant, right? And it's all those decisions that I have to be aware of in this. And you got to find not really a balance. I don't like this whole work-life balance. You just need better time management. And that might be something that some of you guys find helpful, is that some people try to tell us we need to have better balance. And it's just like, no, you need to create a life that works for you and your family and your business. And that means that when we feel behind, we just need better time management. And a lot of times this comes down to making decisions of, no, I'm not available to do this, or I'm not available to do that. And those are very powerful decisions. Before I even recognized like this framework that I've shared with you on the decision-making process, we would have interns come into our program. And when we used to live close to the University of Kentucky, my wife and I went there, and we would have some interns come from the school, and they were short-term interns, and they would ask us about some career advice. And we always tell them, like, sometimes the best internships that you can get are the ones that make you realize that that's not what you want to do for the rest of your life, right? So you end up committing to something, and you learn through hands-on experience that, like, I don't want to be a bloodstock agent, or I don't want to be a horse trainer, or I don't want to, be a boarding business. And sometimes you figure out what you don't want to do before you figure out what you do want to do. But it takes time and experience, and still making those commitments and being open to, hey, is this what it's meant to be, or is this not it? And I'm one step closer to figuring out what I'm actually meant to be doing. And so those types of experiences are very impactful in being willing, especially early in a career or just in life in general, not being afraid to try new things. And if it doesn't work out, it's not a bad thing. Now you know. Now you have the experience. It's a blessing, right? To be like, that didn't work. Now you don't have to try it again. You don't have to wonder if it was ever going to work out or anything like that. That's been very, very pivotal for us. And so as I've looked into 2025, the number one thing that I have made the decision to give up this year is goals. I've made that decision weeks ago, before Christmas. I was like, this was just coming into my soul as to how are you going to approach the new year. And I've never been one for New Year's resolutions or trying to make massive change just because it's January 1. If it's November 12th and I'm like, I need to change this in my life, I need to change this in my business, you start then. You don't wait until a date, because then you're just procrastinating, you're just pushing it off. But very early on, before Christmas, I started having this thought process come into my mind of, what will the new year look like? How will I approach this? And I cannot tell you where it come from other than God himself. And I'll give you a little bit of a background as to how I've arrived to this too, because there's been things that have been happening since October and September of 2024 that's kind of all led up to this. And the number one thing is giving up goals. And the thing that I knew months prior is that God is doing some very amazing things in our life. And when I say he's doing some amazing things, I know that there's amazing things ahead for us. Right? We have a lot to be blessed and thankful for right now, but I can feel that energy that there are some amazing things coming. And I've tried to make an intentional effort not to cap or limit or box in what that will be. So one of those particular things is that we're looking at purchasing a new facility, and it's a big step. But when I look at the facility that we're currently looking at, or even at the potential of finding the next place, because I'm not married to the one that we're looking at. If it works out, it'd be great. If that's the one that is meant to be, I'm super thankful that we've arrived and we've found it, and now we're trying to work through the back-ended process. But if that one's not the one that's meant to be, I look at it as the ranch, that whichever one it is that we do end up purchasing, it's a physical location for us to continue serving horses and to continue serving students and clients and customers in a very big way. And when I look at the things that we want to have in that ranch, right, I know that particularly God wants to make those things possible. But one of the things that I've realized specifically when it comes to goals is that if I start to set my goals and I used to write my goals out. My buddies in college, made fun of me because behind my computer on the wall, I had a whole list of goals, and they were monthly goals, yearly goals, 5-year goals, and 10-year goals. I don't say this with mean spirit, but I'm the one that's laughing now because a lot of those goals have come true because I've had those in the vision and I've been working towards those things. But I also know that those goals per se were just part of the purpose that I was working towards. And so what I've realized now is that if I set goals, very concrete goals, like particularly looking at a horse facility is just an easy example. If I limit it to the number of acres, if I limit it to how many bedrooms the house, or how many stalls the barn, or how big or small the arena should be, I could be limiting what is possible and what is meant for us based on what I think I might be able to afford financially, or what I think we need. And so by giving up goals in 2025, what has that allowed me to do? Well, one, mentally, emotionally, it's allowed me to give trust to God, to go, hey, you do your work. I trust that you're going to provide us exactly what we need. And therefore, I'm not going to put my limit of what I think is possible, because I think, frankly, God wants to provide us with abundance and far beyond oftentimes what we think is possible, right? And it requires a lot of patience and a lot of trust, and a blind trust to a very literal extent. But I've let go of that, because if I try to have all the answers for my wife or for my staff, right, or for my clients, then that can be a crippling amount of pressure. And so I've let go of that, saying, I know the things that I would like to have. I know the ingredients that we need to have to be successful, so I can make an educated free will decision on purchasing a facility or making other types of investments from a business standpoint, or making decisions for our family, right? I can't just be like, you got it, God, I'm just going to sit back. In fact, this perspective has allowed me to do just the opposite, which is by giving up those goals, that regimented structure of this is what I'm going to achieve, right? And by letting go of that, I can tell you in the first 9 days, it has allowed me to shift my focus to doing the work, to being present, doing the work, and doing whatever is necessary to serve as many horses, as many people as possible. And I get to step into and focus on my purpose. I can ask myself consistently throughout the day, is this what I'm meant to be doing? Is this what I have to do to be able to fulfill my purpose and serve the people that I put in my path that I can continue to help? And I've been able to let go, because I know that great things are on the horizon this year. And I know that there is going to be difficulty, and there's going to be obstacles, and there's going to be things that try to stop us in the path. And guess what? The cure is the same. The cure for getting what we want and getting what God has intended for us, and the cure to overcoming those problems and those obstacles and those tough moments that we will face throughout this year, all comes down to us having faith in doing the work of serving those around us, right? And then stewarding, right? And I'll tell you this because I have shared with you guys, I've been fairly open on this one, about us looking for a property. And one of the big ways that we could limit, and you could be thinking about this with a horse, you could be thinking about this with a car, with anything that you're going to purchase in the next year, is one of the big things I've realized is that, because I am merely stewarding the things that I've been trusted with. None of this stuff is mine, right? This ranch that we own right now, we've been trusted with. The next ranch that we will buy, that will be one that we are trusted to steward. And one of the things that when it comes to buying things, particularly property, is that we limit our search based on our budget. And this could be a whole nother conversation, but this is one of those stepping stones that allowed me to give up goals going into 2025, which was, well, if the money that I am earning through the work that I'm doing is not mine, because it's not, it's just what I've been trusted with to steward. If that money's not necessarily mine, then why would I have a budget on something that I'm looking to steward that is not necessarily mine. I hope that that makes sense here, which is really understanding that if I try to cap what the budget is, I'm saying I'm only willing or I'm only able to spend this much of this money that I have earned, then I am putting a limit on what is possible. Versus if I recognize this is what I've received because I've been trusted with this to come in, and therefore, if I'm going to be trusted to steward the next thing, why would I personally put a cap on what I am trusted with versus following God's lead and saying, hey, I will steward whatever you have in my path to steward to the very best of my ability. And then I know that I can open up that budget. And this is what's happened. I've opened up that budget and I was like, okay, I'll just follow your lead. I will trust that you're going to lead us in the direction we need to go. And I'm not going to worry about the finances. The finances will work out how they're supposed to, because ultimately the money that gets put towards that next place to actually purchase it here on earth, to be able to deal with bankers and to pay off interest rates, God will provide that. It's my job to make an educated decision, to manage it and to steward it responsibly. But one of the things I've realized is that if I put that limit on a budget, those doors might be so closed that I can't actually see what God has in store for me because I've put a limit based on what I think is possible financially or management wise or what is necessary, right? And so this game for me has been goals can be a limit. Goals can be a limit because we set goals based on what we think is possible, what we think is attainable. And I've always been big on telling people if your goals aren't big and scary and they don't give you sweaty palms, they're probably not big enough. But over the last couple of weeks and even months, I've started to wonder, should we even really be setting goals to begin with? And I'm not saying that goals are a bad thing, because it's really nice to check things off the list and be like, I did it, right? But I think what we really need to be focusing on is stepping into our purpose and asking ourselves as we go through 2025, am I doing the work that I was created to do? And almost all of us, deep down in our soul, we know what we're meant to be doing. The question is, have you stepped into that? And some of you might be going, I don't know what it is. Then it's like, hey, that's where we got to go try new things. We got to go live life. We got to go have experiences so that He can lead us to the thing that we're meant to be doing. And for some people, that might be being a mother. For other people, it might be building a very successful career in a sales with a particular industry. Other people, it might be stewarding animals and taking care of animals and homesteading. For other people, other people are meant to be accountants and engineers, right? Nurses and doctors and policemen. We all have our purpose. And when we can shift our focus to that purpose, it's amazing what can come together with that. And I think that's one of the most powerful things that all of us should be stepping towards in this new year, right? In 2025, is not necessarily worrying so much about the goal or how we're going to get there, but aligning ourselves with a perspective and a commitment and a decision to step into our purpose, to not put limits on what is possible, to be open to these opportunities. And I always say, people, don't be so open-minded your brain falls out, because we have free will. We need to make smart decisions, educated decisions. We need to surround ourselves with people that actually celebrate our wins, right? It's the quickest way for me to kick people out of my circle is if you don't actually genuinely celebrate the things that we have going well because you feel resentful about the success that we've achieved, or you're not actually truly happy, it's like, I don't need that in my life. You're just going to pull us down. Bye-bye. Open the cage. Let your wings fly away. I made the dangerous prayer a couple months ago to ask God to say, take the people out of my life that aren't meant to be here. I've learned that's a dangerous prayer. I think He's still working on that one, right? I'm still open to it. I'm still committed to it. I'm ready for it, right? Because I want to step full force into that. And that is why I told you guys at the beginning of this video to put what would be most helpful for you down in the comments, because I know that through each of these videos, there are people that I'm meant to be reaching, meant to be helping. And when I can hear from you, it helps me serve you. And that's why I want to do that. But as you guys know, like I'm giving up goals going into 2025. That doesn't mean that I don't have things that I would like to see come true. That's not the case. I have wants, I have desires, and I know that God wants to make those things possible, but it's on His timeline. And it comes down to me praying and trusting Him and me doing the work in my own life, right? And I think that if we all do that, this world becomes an even better place because we all step into the work that we're created to do, to be, and to do. And when we do that, there's a massive ripple effect across the entire world, across this industry, especially within the horses, because that's the one that we really reside in. And we always joke around here, it's horses and homesteading, and then it will be homeschooling when it's time for the kiddos, right? So we got the Triple H, horses, homesteading, and homeschooling that will be happening around here. But I pray and I hope that you have an extremely blessed 2025. And I hope that you step into your purpose. I hope that our conversation today around what decisions really are and that implication to when you make a decision, the ripple effect that that has all the way around you to where you can bring that to the forefront as you can, so you can intentionally make decisions as you go forward. I pray that you don't actually put a limit onto what is possible this year, but yet you commit to the work. You commit to having the discipline, to having the consistency that it takes to fulfill your purpose, and trust that the other things are going to fall into place as long as you stay focused on the work and you surround yourself with people that actually care about you, that actually want to see you win, that will actually stand up for you and defend you when you're not there. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, be sure, let me know in the comments. Hit that like button. Feel free to share this with whoever you'd like to. We always have links down in there below if you're interested in our horsemanship community, if you want to join us in the Horse Business Builders community and utilize Horse Business Manager, right? Those are the things that pay for us to allow us to do this. I'd love to continue serving you on your horsemanship journey in our Cavi community. I'd love to serve you and help you really, really get your business running efficiently and profitably through using Horse Business Manager. But of course, most of all, if you're just here for the videos, I pray that you step into your purpose this year. You don't put a cap on what is possible, and you go out there and you serve as many people as you possibly can, and that you're who you're meant to be serving. And with that being said, y'all, we will see you on the next video.